What's up, y'all? It's Daryl D. Welcome back. Today, I want to show you guys something cool from my collection. This is like a new series of videos I'm going to start doing. Let me just start at the beginning. I've been a collector like since I was 4 or 5 years old. I've collected everything, all the stuff that kids collect, and when hip hop culture, especially the rap aspect of it, came along, I was always collecting stuff from that. Well, I started collecting rap toys quite a while back, probably almost 20 years ago, I think. I would buy them. They weren't putting them out very much. There wasn't a lot of rap toys out there, but I had all of them. That's just what I did. I saw it, I bought them. Some of the most early figures I bought were like the Mezco, the Run DMC stuff. A lot of the rap toys I had before that were like promotional items that the record companies would give out and whatnot, or sometimes the distributors or the different stores for different events, stuff like that would come out, and I would buy all of that stuff. In fact, up until about, wow, maybe 2016, I'm thinking, when I think the Dilla figure came out right around then, the one where he's holding the MPC, the very, very first Dilla figure. Up until that figure, and I never owned that figure, but up until that figure came out, I probably had 95% of every rap toy that had been released. I had them all. My collection was crazy. I started getting rid of that stuff right around, or actually during COVID. I started selling off a lot of that stuff. A lot of it had been in storage for a while. I didn't have it out and displayed, and I just figured it was time to let that stuff go. And I really started focusing on my music memorabilia because I always collected that stuff as well. So that's the memorabilia aspect of it. I was always going to keep that because that was like more personal. And so that's some of what I want to show you today. I want to show you some things from my Flier collection. Me being a DJ, I've collected most every flyer that I've been on. I don't have all of them, but I have a lot of them. I wish I had all of them. I did a lot of parties and a lot of shows where they didn't have a flyer, or I didn't end up on the flyer. But for the stuff that I did end up on, I do have a lot of that stuff. And then after a while, maybe about 10 years ago, I just started collecting flyers just in general. 10, 12 years ago, something like that. I just started collecting any kind of flyers that I thought were cool, especially if they were rap related. So I do have flyers in my collection from different eras, different decades, different cities. That's a part of my collection as well. But I want to start off with a flyer, because I'm only going to show one at a time, or one per video, I should say. And this is sort of just like an introduction video to, me just showing you, hopefully, a whole lot of my collection as the time goes on. Now, everybody knows that, I shouldn't say everybody, but if you're familiar with the channel, I'm originally from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and I moved out to Phoenix, Arizona in 1998. In 97 is when I first came, is when I first came to Phoenix. And a big concern for me was, did they have a scene out here, like a hip-hop scene, a rap scene, and I didn't know if they did or didn't. And I remember at the time, like I had rented a Samurai Suzuki, and I'm, bouncing around the city trying to figure out, do I really want to move here? Because I was sick of the snow back home, and my aunt and my grandmother lived here at the time. So they were here. Those were incentives, just the fact of the sun, so much sun and palm trees, and it was really, really different out here. It was really beautiful, but I wasn't 100% sure at that time. So I remember turning on the radio, and you hit the scan button, and it just goes to the next station, stays there for a few seconds, and it goes to the next station, and to the next, and to the next. And I remember just waiting, to hear something. Waiting to hear something. Boom, it goes to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. And I'm not finding anything. It went all through the whole entire dial and came back to where I was at in the beginning, and it hadn't picked up anything. And that made me kind of nervous. So I just remember pulling up to this record store called Zia Records. I can't remember if I looked it up and I actually was driving to that location, or if I just happened to be driving by. I don't quite remember. But I remember pulling up, get out the car, and I'm walking up to the door, and I see this big 11 by 17. I'm going to show you a smaller version of it. But it was a Flier. And the Flier was this Flier right here. Now take a real good look at that. Okay? So, when I saw this Flier, and I saw somebody's bringing De La and Jeru, then I knew that they were doing something right in this city. Now, if you notice, let me show you a different version of this Flier, different color anyway. If you notice, the first thing you see is TMC Presents. TMC is short for Tyree Michael Carter. Tyree Michael Carter at the time was the biggest rap promoter in the city. Ty and I, later on in the future, went on to work together a lot. But this was the #1 guy to go to if you wanted to see a rap show. If you wanted to see a real rap show. Now, there were other people doing shows, but nobody was doing it like TMC was doing it. And as we go through some of these videos, I'm going to show you some different some different flyers, actually quite a few TMC flyers that we're going to talk about and look at some of those shows and what they were doing here in Phoenix back in the 90s. And this guy has an incredible story. So make sure, if you have to go to YouTube, if you have to go to Google or whatever, but there's been many times where Ty Carter told his story. He's got a fantastic story on how he went on to become such an incredible and legendary producer. And to be clear, nobody was putting it down like Ty Carter before he got big, and nobody has put it down like that since. Test me. All right? So, unfortunately, I wasn't able to actually attend this concert, but just to know that this was going on was incredible. This was incredible. You got DJ Shadow, who opened up there. Just incredible. And it says 97, yeah. So, and I moved here 6 months later. So basically, well, I think it was the beginning of, it was a little longer than that actually. But TMC, I wanted to show you this flyer first because when it comes to the scene out here, this is the flyer that basically was my introduction to Phoenix hip hop, to the Phoenix hip hop scene, to the Phoenix rap scene, and to the Phoenix rap concert scene. It was this flyer right here. Now, like I said, I didn't get to go to this show, but if anybody was around back then and you got to see this show, not only here in Arizona, but anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world, if you got to see this show, please share the highlights of this show with me in the comments, because I didn't get to go and I would have loved to. This was at the Electric Ballroom in Tempe, Arizona, and yeah, and this was a tour, which is why some of you will be able to tell me what was going on with this. So yeah, this one is just like short and sweet. You see a little stuff on the back. We ain't gonna talk about this right now, but Ty used to double up on his flyers. Anyway, this was just the intro. I don't have any highlights. I wasn't there, which I was, but if you dig this flyer and you dig rap shows, we're going to keep talking about this. A lot of times it's going to be shows that I was a part of in some way, shape, or fashion. And sometimes it's going to be flyers that I had nothing to do with, but the flyers are like really cool for whatever reason. We'll get to that when we get to that. And then sometimes I'll show you more than one flyer per video because I might not have a whole lot to say. Like, I can't really get deep into it, just like I can't get deep into this. So normally if I would have showed this in another video, I probably would have shown more than one flyer. But yeah, that's what's up. Big ups to Tyree Michael Carter, TMC Entertainment, TMC Presents, and all of that. We're going to have a lot to say about that on future videos, all right? So, until then, thank you guys for hanging out. I love this kind of stuff. I hope you guys do too, because there's more coming, all right? So, until then, you guys be safe. This is Daryl D. Envisions out of Milwaukee. Act like you know. Peace and love.